Better turn that radio down so we can hit that copyright, boys. We don't want to get copyrighted. What is up, boys? Welcome back to the channel. We're heading to the fitting store real quick. We're in the truck, and we also got to pick up some diffusers from the shop. Should be ready to go so we can get these things shipped out. Most of them are sold, but if I have some, check the website, guys. As soon as I pick up these hoses and fittings, we're gonna show you, gonna get back to the house and show you what we're doing with that supercharged coolant system for the Hellcat. Yes, sir. All painted up, ready to go. All the parts that we painted up the other day, you guys remember in that video when we had a little paint session, along with most of the heater lines, and I should say coolant lines, I should say supercharged lines that we're going to need, hoses and things like that, in order to get this thing to work with your supercharger. I will go over everything as soon as we get everything installed, but a lot of this stuff, believe it or not, is actually the stock stuff from the charger, like the newer style chargers. I'll try to put a bunch of links down in the description below if you guys do not have any. You do have to make a custom bracket. This is the custom bracket that I made for our reservoir, for the supercharger fill tank, our reservoir. We made that little custom bracket there. I'll show you guys how it works. And then this is just a little L-shaped bracket that I bent and repurposed to hold up this line right here. That'll kind of go just like that. And then we'll bolt this side up to the alternator, believe it or not, where you just repurpose the bolt, and just like so, it'll hold it up. But it does require a little bit of patience and a little bit of fab work and things like that. As a matter of fact, we got to drill a hole where one of these lines goes into the supercharger. Let me show you guys. As a matter of fact, let's get just right down to it and get working. All right, boys, I want to talk to you guys a little about something very specific, and it was not easy to figure out, at least for me. I mean, it should be in theory, but it was a pain in the butt, long story short. So I'm going to save you guys a headache. Super important is these guys here. Now, you know, we went with the shorts bypass adapter here in the back. Now, the problem is they don't give you any kind of fittings for these hoses that run and back into the coolers. Now, these hoses are about 3/4, I want to say, in diameter. They're about 3/4 inch hoses. And what's problem is that the fittings, when you guys get the fittings that come out of here, they're usually a 10 is only a 5/8, I want to say. So it's not big enough for a 3/4. So what I ended up having to do is I had to basically buy 2 fittings to make one. So I went down to the fitting store. We bought, technically it would have been a -10 coming out of there, but then we put the 3/4 inch barb on it. So you guys can see we had it fabricated, and we fabricated it on there, the 3/4 inch barb, because that was the only way we really could do and use those same size lines because of the adapter issue we were having. Because if we try to put the -12, which would have been a 3/4 inch, which adapts to a 3/4 inch hose, what was happening is we couldn't screw these on. They would get in each other's way, and you wouldn't even be able to get them on. You get one on, and that was it. So we just stuck with that, and then just basically welded on the aluminum barb onto the aluminum fitting. So now we can go directly into it with our 3/4 inch hoses and be fine. So just a heads up on that, you guys. Let's continue installing this thing up real quick. See if I can get this tape off of here so you guys can have a better visual. Oh, come on, dog. Get off of there. Not gonna lie, guys, I like it a lot. It's not too shabby considering we're using most of the stock lines here, even the reservoir. What you guys think? Not too bad, not terrible, right? Not too shabby. Let me see if I can give you guys a better picture here. What you guys think? Not too bad. Looks pretty good, huh? I like it. So guys, this is a little bracket that I painted up. I don't know if you guys remember that video. That's that bracket that we painted up, and it looks good. It works good. I even used that bolt location right there actually was a hole that I was already in this inner fender. All I did was repurpose it, and it lined up perfectly with that. I like the way it came out with a few rubber insulators in between the mounting points just for vibrations and things like that. Not too bad though. Like I said, this piece right here, this is the stock piece. All I did was actually ended up having to remove the stock hoses because I didn't like the length on them. Like bottom one down here didn't even reach. So that one back here, this is actually the stock hose, and it didn't reach. So I removed that one, kind of made my own lines on those two back sides. And then this is all stock right here, along with that guy there. Obviously this pipe, you know that one, that's the one we painted up. And then we come down in there, and then down there on the bottom side where we painted up that tube that runs all the way to the other side to the pump. And then here, I don't remember if I talked about this or not, but this is the line here that actually is going to be running to our cooler as far as the stock one. And then we drilled this hole out here just to have access to that hose and installing it and removing it if we need to. So this is the stock cooler here, right? So, and that's where that hose location is at. You guys can see it just comes out of there through the radiator support into that. Now the line, that pipe that we were hooking up earlier, that's the pipe that's down here. You guys can see I got it all mounted up, and it comes and it runs across, and then it lands right there. I think it's actually going to be pretty freaking almost perfect. The bumper goes right here. The bumper should not be an issue as far as that bracket goes. If it is a little bit, we can always manipulate that pipe a little bit, but I think it's going to work out perfect, I should say. Now this is the cooler. The way this thing works, let me see if I can get this flow right here, if I can explain this correctly. So like I said, the bottom side of that line, this bottom one here, that's the one that runs into the cooler on this side, right down in here. Now the top side, that's the line that runs all the way to that pipe, and it actually plugs into the pump, the aux pump. Now as far as the outlet here from the cooler, that one's actually going to run back into the aux cooler that we mounted up the other day. Now what I did is I went to O'Reilly's and I found a hose that kind of had somewhat of a weird shape, because if you look, we got to go like a U and then come back in to a 90 here. So this is what I came up with. Let me put this stuff on real quick. I'll put the clamps on and everything so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Oh lordy, lord, it's hot, y'all. It's about 105 already, and it's only like 10 a.m. It's supposed to be, I don't know, they said 115 a day. Jeez. But y'all, this freaking light. Well guys, it's either this light flashing or you guys don't get to see what's going on. But this is what I got going on here. That's the aux pump right there. You guys can see that's where I mounted it. I mounted it right there behind this, I don't know what you call it, behind the fender headlight area. So I mounted it there, and remember, that's the pipe. That's the pipe that's running across, that goes all the way back and up into the aux pump. Now, the biggest thing with these aux pumps is that they're a different diameter when it comes to that guy there and that guy there. That's like closer to 5/8, and that's closer to 3/4. And that's a huge difference. And you guys can see I have one hose with no adapters or anything hooking up to it. And I'll tell you how I did here in a sec. But this guy right here, this is actually the factory line. That's a factory hose that came with the car from like a 2016. And all I did was repurpose it, and then I kind of spliced it, I guess you can say. I put a barb fitting there and then ran a line back through there. I had a drill with the grommet and everything else like that. But it's nice because it has that U-bend to come back over because of the awkward angle from this pump. So that really helps. Make sure you guys use that stock one. And then I'll show you up front real quick also. But let me show you what I used as far as that hose go. Now, like I said, you're talking about a 3/4 and 5/8. That's a huge difference. So this actually is a silicone line that's 5/8. So the reason I use the silicone line for that area right there is because silicone is, you can manipulate it quite a bit and it stretches very well and easy versus rubber hose. So all I had to do is put a little bit of oil in here and push it nice and hard up to that guy up there into the pump on that 3/4, and it slid in. So that's how much flexibility you have with the silicone. So try to get a silicone 5/8, and then you can go right into that and don't have to have any adapters, anything, and that'll eliminate another leak point. So definitely worked out well. Use that silicone line, worked well for me. All I did was cut it down. Now, remember what we were talking about earlier up front? Now this is the up front. That's obviously the line that comes through there from the pump, from the aux pump, and that one actually gets fed to the lower side. So what's happening here, it's going through the main cooler and then out here, right? Coming out of here and then back into the aux cooler to get cooled once again, comes back out and then back down through the aux pump, and the aux pump is taking it down and then back over and then back into the supercharger. That's kind of how that flow works. I really like it, guys. It's considering that we were able to use somewhat most of the stock stuff other than the coolers, but you guys can see it came out really well. And this hose right here, like I said, this is kind of a tricky hose, kind of a tricky crazy bend, and I was able to get it in one piece. I will try to link this stuff down below. See if I can link this hose part number down below or something like that. Maybe shoot you guys a link or two. And then also I will put the links down to all these clamps. You guys, I don't know if you guys been watching the channel, I posted a video on those clamps. And actually I started with my TikTok. I had it on my TikTok. Nobody believed me they work, so I made a YouTube video. Guys, it's still going on. If you guys can get 1,000 likes on that video, man, I will give a set of these away for your build. Maybe not for the Hellcat though, because the Hellcat is insane. Let's count how many clamps we got, and not including the ones we just used back there, because I'm not using those back there because you'll never see them. We just use regular clamps. You'll never see them. And there was what? There was at least 4 to 5 clamps in the back over here. So let's count these. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, guys. 15 freaking clamps just for the supercharged system, not including the regular clamp style that we use back here underneath the fender, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more back there. Holy, that's over 20 clamps, guys, for this supercharged system. It is nuts. These Hellcats, the cooling system is crazy, but I like it, guys. I dig it. It blends right in. It looks freaking good and nice and clean. I'm liking it a lot. I don't know if I told you guys about this bracket though. This bracket was the one that we made up. Well, we made it, we kind of manipulated it, and that's the one we're using. All we did was mount it to the alternator and just repurpose the alternator bolt, and that's nice and sturdy. It won't move around or anything. All we got left as far as the cooling system goes, we got to hook up our radiator hoses. We're going to have to get one made here or find something that's going to work for this angle, because it's kind of an awkward angle here too. Another thing I got to figure out is the coolant reservoir. The coolant reservoir, the stock one, is super big, and I don't know if we're going to be able to use it in here because of the cold air intake. We'll figure it out once we get to that spot. I will let you guys know what we ended up doing. But you guys, let me know what you guys think of this build, man. I'm digging the supercharged system. It came out really nice. I was not gonna lie, I was a little nervous about it at first, but came out super clean. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up though, and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. You guys already know. Stay wrenching.